What up, man? It's your big brother K-Rino. I want to give y'all this, man, because I think and hope and pray that it's going to help people and give us some better understanding. Look, man, there's not a person walking this planet who has not been done wrong by somebody else. Um, and age doesn't always have anything to do with it. You could be 8 years old. Somebody's probably done you wrong. Um, all the way up into adulthood. Of course, by the time you reach adulthood, you've probably been done wrong more times than you can count. And that's why I want to lay this out to y'all, because the accumulation of instances where people have done you wrong, it takes effect on people's minds if you don't have the understanding to process it the right way. Um, when you are a person who moves in a way where you don't have it in your heart to do anybody any wrong, then those are usually the kind of people who take it the hardest when somebody does do them wrong. Because while a stranger can mess over you or do something to you, usually the ones who do you wrong are those who you know, those who are close to you. Family members, friends, acquaintances, whatever. And that's how it usually happens, comes in that form. And that's what makes it more hurtful to the people who's been wrong, because it's like, how could, not how could you do this to me? How could you do this to me? Meaning a specific person who they trusted, who they believed was their friend, family, whatever. So I want to talk about how we should deal with that. And the way to deal with that, because before I go into it, I'll say this. Sometimes when you got a good heart, even if you may not have the best heart, but sometimes you just have enough heart in you to where you may give people a second chance, whatever. Um, you just had that mindset like, man, I can't believe this. I can't believe this. When this happens to you, understand that it's not a you problem. It's a them problem. It's them. It's them. So what you have to process in your mind, because a lot of times I've seen people where they kind of go through this thing like, well, what did I do? What I must have done something to make him act like that. I had to do something to make her act like this. You start blaming yourself. Nah, step outside of that and step into a mind of reality, and you just play back the history of you and that person, and you say, well, you know what? I've never done nothing to warrant that. And once you go through that process, and even if you did, maybe y'all have done each other wrong. Maybe y'all had that kind of connection where y'all just maybe had a volatile or back and forth type of thing, but somebody got to break the cycle. That's another conversation. But once you know that it's not a you problem, it's a them problem, you got to put your hands up to it. You got to let it go. You got to let it go. Because if you carry it, then you take it to the next person. You pass it on to the next person. And the next person may not be deserving of that resentment. They may not be deserving of that mistrust. They may not be deserving of that side eye kind of mindset that somebody else instilled in you. This person didn't do that. So at the end of the day, you have to, no matter what it was, and we'll get into the levels, but you have to say, man, I'm not going to dwell on that for the rest of my life. Because what happens is the person or people who do you wrong at some point, typically, not always, because some people don't know when to move around, But typically, the person that does you wrong, they're not in your life forever. So you've moved on from them in the physical form. You've gone on with your life. You moved out of state. You've uh, broke all association. But up here, you still have them. They're still right there with you up here, which means they never gone anywhere. So you have to disconnect from the mind. You have to disconnect them from your thought process and from your that sense of holding that animosity and that resentment to where they're not even a thought to you. You move forward. You move forward. And then you do your best, like I said earlier, not to bring that to the next person. See? Because when they're gone from you by whatever means in the physical, for you to keep on dwelling on that, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're wasting time. You are aging yourself because you're stressing and you're frowned up all the time, and you're aging yourself. You're putting wear and tear on your mental, which eventually puts wear and tear on your physical. So when somebody does you wrong, and it's clear that they are the ones who are in the wrong, they done you wrong. You look at it as a good thing if you catch it in time. You catch it in time. That's what they talk about with cancer and certain conditions. You catch it in time, you can cut it out. Cut it off and you good. It's gone. It's out of you. But if you let it go too long, harder you let it go, harder it is to unravel. So practice that moving forward. And I know it's not always easy for some people because some people just they won't let it go. And when you don't let it go, you don't give yourself an opportunity to properly heal from it because your mind is so focused on the continuation of placing that blame and even if you didn't get closure, because that's like a big deal to people for some reason. Well, I just never got my closure. So what? And I know I'm gonna get in trouble for saying that a lot, man. But so what? Why do you want closure from somebody who did you wrong, who dogged you? I want no closure from somebody who. I need to know why you did that and what were you thinking? Man, who cares? They did it. Move on. Move on. Um, if they have not done nothing horrendous to you, when y'all know what I mean, if they didn't, God forbid, take the life of somebody in your family, they didn't violate your child or you and in other ways, things to me that are just unforgivable. But if it's just some general stuff or whatever, man, let that go. Let that go. Don't go back to being. Don't bring them back in. But let it go so you can be okay. Let it go so you can be okay. And if you're the person who's done that to other people, then just work to fix yourself. It's all good. All right, man. It's your big brother K-Rino. Y'all go check out the new episode of Underground Dialogue Podcast. It's on YouTube right now. Go check us out, man, and subscribe to this channel and that one. And I'll catch y'all later on. Peace.